All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and wow, you guys ever just have one of them days? I don't know if you can tell by my expression. It has been one of those days. But okay, enough about me. You're here for the Israeli war update plus the other things I throw in there. So I'm going to get right into it. We'll see how this goes. So, again, in no particular order, just some headlines that I consider as data points that we should kind of be aware of. So the first one is the Marine Corps has posted an announcement that the 248th Marine Corps Ball has been canceled on November the 16th due to unforeseen operational commitments and the nature of the current mission. Now you go, Rural, why do I care? Well, why would you cancel something like that? Have they canceled ones in the past? I believe that there was some that they have canceled, but why would you cancel this one? Now, keep in mind, as we said in yesterday's video, that there is supposed to be this major thing, all these ultimatums and things about this Friday. Keep that in mind because there's another one that doesn't have to do with Friday, but it's another major ultimatum that I'll get to in just a moment. But if the Marine Corps, which remember, we have all these aircraft carriers over there in the region, and a lot of them have a lot of Marines on those vessels. So, uh, do they know something's coming down the pike extremely quickly that they are just canceling all their plans? It could be silly, it could be nothing, it could be something. For me, it's a little tiny pin up here of a data point. So it was worth a mention. It's enough to lead off. Let's go into some other things. So the Houthis in Yemen have published a picture. Now, in this picture, it is a kind of above view of an American aircraft carrier with a whole bunch of these rockets and missiles, um, kind of going right down to it. And the caption is, quote, "Stop the genocide in the Gaza Strip or your forces will be overwhelmed," end quote. Now, this is nothing new. They have been doing this, okay? And for me, when you see these things where they're throwing out these major, big, powerful meaning words of genocide and war crimes and all this other stuff, for me, is it true? I don't know. I'm not over there. I can't tell you. I mean, any of the pictures, videos could be uh, made up. It could be AI generated. It could be, stuff that's a year, 5 years old. I do my best. I have found personally where they have posted a video or picture that you do the really simple, easy, and I'm computer illiterate, where you take that picture and you drop it into the search bar of Google and it'll pop up going, hey, this is from 2019. And I go, okay, well, it's obviously fake. So uh, these right here, right now, again, we've said this in multiple videos. It's just words. Until there's an action behind it, it is, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. It's that whole cartoon thing of that line in the sand. And I posted that cartoon because it really comes true on stuff like this. Bugs Bunny draws the line, he steps over it. He draws the line, he steps over it. And you're going to get stuff like this until something happens, just words. All right, let's move on. So Hezbollah said that Hezbollah will only go to war if Hamas is on its last leg. Now, they have been threatening and posturing and saying all these things for the past, couple weeks now about don't do this, we're going to come in there, we're backing Hamas. And, they post little things. I saw something the other day where they posted something before I think their Twitter got shut, or I'm sorry, X now got shut down, that said, to Hamas that our hand is with you or something like that. So they're still openly giving them support and whatnot. But now they're saying, listen, unless you're an inch away from complete destruction and total losing, then we'll step in. Otherwise, you got this. You're fine. So it's kind of interesting to see that they've kind of about face. Now, is this again just words? Is this just a thing to maybe throw off some people? Like, okay, we don't need to worry about them. Are they lying about this? We don't know. It's just a data point. But what I find interesting is Hezbollah is up in Lebanon. Today, the Lebanese or Lebanon president has requested a truce for 5 days. Otherwise, he says Lebanon will officially enter the war. Now, I know there's a ton of people that, especially those that support Hamas, is saying, due to humanitarian reasons, that a ceasefire needs to, come about. Now, I said my piece on why a ceasefire just won't work. A ceasefire never works. It does no good for really nothing, either side. Now, I get the thing that if you have a ceasefire, if both sides do agree to even just a 3 day ceasefire, you can get a lot of humanitarian aid, you can get a lot of injured and people that are innocent kind of out of the way. But you got to realize the playing field and who's the players. Um, Really, you're going to have that really bad quote that I hate of collateral damage. Um, Civilians and civilian infrastructure is a great way to hide when you are at a disadvantage, because unless you have those that do not care, they will, you know, really kind of hesitate and a lot of times shy away uh, when these people are in civilian infrastructure places like mosques and schools and hospitals and things like that. Now, I will, and I have said this a few times on this channel. We are a neutral channel. Okay, I'm not picking any side. If you come at me and go, "Well, Ro, you have to pick a side," sorry, not playing your game. Okay, not going to do it. For me, it is one of those ones that I am not going to get emotionally involved. Emotionally involved leads to a lot of mistakes. What I want is a permanent way to have peace. Okay. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen whether I pick a side or not. Okay. My picking a side is not going to change anything whatsoever. So for me, I'm going to stick, I'm neutral. I have no way of confirming who's right, who's wrong, if they're both right, if they're both wrong, or anything. If that upsets you, move on. It's fine. No hard feelings. We're just not going to mesh. Okay. Uh, Enough rant. Let's move on to the next one. All right. So the Secretary General, which I didn't know they had a Secretary General, but the Secretary General of the Islamic Resistance in Iraq said that they will liberate all foreign military presence in Iraq. There will be no stand down, and if war breaks out in Iraq, then the Iraqi army will defect and join the resistance. There's a lot to unpack in that because we have a pretty good presence militarily in Iraq for, I mean, a number of different reasons. And we work closely with the Iraqis and the Iraqi military. We train the Iraqi military. Would they defect and switch over to the resistance? I don't know. I don't know enough. I've never been there, to know anything on the ground. Is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. Do I think that they would? There's probably a number that would. Do I think this is even going to happen so we will know? I don't think so. I think this is just kind of a lot of posturing. I could be wrong, but I don't see it, at least as of right now, that this Iraqi resistance is really going to do too much at the moment. I don't know a whole lot about this. I'm really doing a much deeper dive since I've seen this again. Like I said, I didn't even know that they had a Secretary General of the Islamic Resistance. It's a new one on me, but I'm looking into it. The This is not new, but I want to put this out there in case you don't know. The FBI Director Chris Wray has issued a warning yesterday during his threat to the Homeland Senate hearing or his testimony. So all he did was basically get up there and say exactly what most of us that are paying attention know, is that there is a possibility of having a threat of some sort of terroristic event on the homeland. I think that's pretty obvious. Honestly, stuff happens all the time, and unless you hear about it, you won't even know. And I don't even remember. I think it was during Obama's first term. Um, if you guys remember the guy that had the explosive in his shoe that was on an airplane right around like Christmas, that got stopped. They got the guy, got the shoe away, everything was all good. This stuff happens, and I don't even know if any of you remember. If you do, comment down below if you remember that. But this stuff happens all the time, and unless the media makes a big deal out of it, then it gets forgotten about, or you may not even hear it at all. So it's one of those ones, with everything that's going on right now, even if you're not in one of these, if you're not uh, what they're quoting to be in this testimony, where he said people of Muslim faith or Jewish faith or whatever have a higher chances of being targeted. If you're an American, you have a chance. If you're anything, I mean, look at all the senseless stuff that goes by where it's a argument between two people when somebody gets caught in the crossfire that's innocent, that has nothing to do. You have a target. This is not a time to let your guard down, and not to have your EDC, not to have your med kit, not to have your tourniquet, not to have self or protection. This is the time. This is a time to step it up and take it more serious. It's not time to freak out and panic, but it's time to get serious. So we did the thing on the ICBM launches yesterday, or the day before, whichever one. North Korea was not in that list, and yet they successfully tested a nuclear capable ICBM. But apparently, we answered back by testing our Minuteman 3 successfully. So that's at least a good thing that ours went off and everything went good. So uh, we'll see on everybody else's. And then I'm going to end on this one. So the U.S. and Israel, and this is all allegedly, I'm looking at some things and there's some kind of shady stuff, but there is also some things that kind of prove some things. So this may or may not be what I would say before I read this. This may just be talk and not actually going to happen. You're spitballing to each other. But let me read this. So the US and Israel are supposedly considering the possibility of introducing a multinational force to go into Gaza by granting a temporary control to other countries in the region. Now, I've been kind of reading into this, and this is kind of, I don't even know how you could do this. But the multinational force would basically be Israel, the U.S., Britain, France, and Germany. Uh, Most of those countries, I think, are tapped out financially and militarily. They've given a lot of money, aid, and supplies and weapons and everything to the Russia Ukraine thing. So it's going to be interesting if that even has any leg to stand on or any merit or truth behind it. So it is interesting. Like I said, there is something there behind it because it wasn't just one single source. There was a few sources behind this. So it's definitely going to be interesting on that. Um, I will continue to look into it. I wanted to end on that to kind of give you something to think about on this whole matter. This whole thing has really gotten just odd and weird about all the different things that's going on. That whole, we're sending in the biggest naval fleet of different vessels of troops and the military buildup since World War II, and every single person that's in U.S. leadership just goes, it's okay. We're just posturing. Just relax. Go about your normal life. Everything's fine. But you go overseas in some of these places in Europe, and you got Germany and some of these other ones going, hey, we need to prepare for war. This is very serious, and I think they're telling their people more of the truth, and we're getting fed more and more lies. Now, I could be completely wrong, and we could just go in there and posture. and everybody backs down and things calm and everything's good. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I don't want to see war next, this to escalate and get bigger and any of this stuff. So we'll just leave it at that for today. There was quite a huge amount of headlines, and honestly, I still have not got through all of this. I wrote down the ones that I thought needed to be said and brought to the attention of the channel, and we'll just go from there. I've got one of you guys sent me a article that I have been reading and I've been researching. As soon as I get through that and get some thought and everything behind it, I will get back to you. I'll either put it on a video or I will get back to you in email form. But the one that commented on my last video about the Palmetto State Armory, thank you for that. I checked that out today on my lunch, and awesome. I signed up and did everything that you told me, so I appreciate that. And that's just one of the things. I love the prepping community. Those of us that understand that this is a community, that we help each other. This isn't a show off game. This isn't a look how much money I've got or I'm better than you. And it gives me a lot of hope because as much as I see the people that just want to LARP and pretend and just want to be the best prepping whatever there is, I see so many more people that go, "Hey, try this out," or "Hey, look over here," or "Hey, even though you really want that, I got it, and here's all the reasons why it failed." And I'm just, maybe it will work for you, but it really failed miserably for me. Just as a heads up, and or try this out, or do this. And so many people just helping and giving advice and just talking with each other, and kind of, even though they're from different states, they're forming this kind of like online mag and group, and I love to see that. I want to see more of it. This is a community. We are ones that we have the same thing in common. We shouldn't be fighting and doing all this bickering, and all this. We should be coming together, and if you look at it this way, let's say that, I don't know, 5 million people in the US actually take prepping serious. We should be pretty much 95% or higher as a community, because if everything goes to the absolute worst scenario and the balloon goes up and we're all that's left, we should be able to communicate and work together and do everything that needs to be done, instead of fighting and bickering about each other, and all this other stuff. So uh, hopefully everything slows down, that those people kind of weed themselves out, that they just want to jump on the bandwagon and show off. I've got all this great stuff, and you're you don't make enough money, and so you shouldn't, you should just give it up. I've seen people actually write that, where they say, oh, you make $10 an hour, you won't even begin to have anything that you need, so you should just give up now, you're just a statistic, and don't even try. And I'm going, no, what are you doing? Like, I have said this, and I'll end on this, because again, you can't see the little ticker right here, but it's going to be one of them, again, long videos. I'm going to end on this, I promise. I saw somebody in one of these groups where there was this sweet older woman, and she was sitting there saying, on, grandma taught me a bunch, I have all these skills, I'm just really rusty because through technology and things, I don't have to do them. But she goes, with everything going on, I'm trying to relearn some skills, I want your guys' advice, what can I do, and different things like that. And I saw people were helping her, but there's this person that just trolled and came in and was like, oh, if you don't have the greatest whatever from this and that, and chambered in this and all this scoped out whatever, and if you can't buy 5 million of these and 50,000 acres, and you're not even going to. And I was like, listen, dude, you can be the most bad whatever dude on the planet, but I'm going to take her every day, because she can sew, and she can repair, and she can grow and and she wants to work together, and she wants others to be successful. You're in it for yourself. And that is dangerous. So when you guys go out for your mag or your tribe and you try and communicate and all that, don't go for the person that wants to show off and, oh, I'm gonna be the leader. I'm gonna be the one that you guys lean on because I'll provide all this protection. I'm provide. Let that one go. You know what? Go find another group. I'm going to take the one that is, I can trust, and the one that wants to be there, and the one that wants to learn, and the one that already has good knowledge and skills and things that I need. I don't need your attitude and I don't need your arrogance. That is a deadly, dangerous combination. So, just a little thing. I'm sorry, I rant on these. It's already long enough. So, thank you guys. Do all the fun YouTube things. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so that way you can be notified for all the future content that's going to come out. Got the giveaway announcement that'll come out. I've got another trip to the ammo store video that's going to come out with a special Pew Pew review on it. So, uh, guys, keep head on a swivel. Be safe out there. Don't panic. Keep prepping every day. Remember to remain united because we're all prepping in this together.